Welcome cinephiles to another episode of Frame by Frame, a series dedicated to the craft of filmmaking. Today we're going to celebrate the most tedious, laborious, and magical method of storytelling, stop-motion animation. The technique has experienced a renaissance in recent years thanks to the artisans at Laika Entertainment, the studio responsible for such movies as Coraline, The Box Trolls, and most recently, KUBO and the Two Strings.
You've got my attention. I promise I won't even blink. I actually don't think I even can blink. Do I have eyelids?
But when the team at Laika isn't making movies, they're making history, specifically with innovations that have made many animators rethink the traditional stop-motion process. Before we talk about the future of the technique, however, we should understand the framework of its past. And for stop-motion, that history begins in 1898 with Albert E. Smith and J. Stuart Blackton's film Humpty Dumpty Circus. Technically, you see, the film itself no longer exists except for stills like these, so the earliest stop-motion film you can actually watch is this one, J. Stuart Blackton's 1907 picture, The Haunted Hotel. And while we're talking influential stop-motion films, here's Romeo Bassetti's 1912 flick, The Automatic Moving Company. Both of these films were created using the basic concept behind stop motion. The objects were photographed a frame at a time in a series of different positions. When these frames are played back in a continuous sequence, as you see here, it creates the illusion of movement. Now, stop motion has taken on a variety of forms throughout the years. Claymation, for example, relies on plasticine figures that are reshaped between shots. The substance is malleable and therefore retains its form, making it ideal for stop motion. British studio Aardman Animations, for example, used plasticine to create their famous characters Wallace and Gromit.
I think people notice that on the screen. You see the craftiness, the handcraftedness on the screen, and I think that, even subconsciously, that comes across to the audience, the amount of love and care that goes into it.
Now, if you know stop motion, you know the names Willis O'Brien and Ray Harryhausen. Following O'Brien's designs, Marcel and Richard Delgado built O'Brien's intricate models. These figures had rubber skins fitted over articulated metal skeletons. Many even contained bladders that were inflated and deflated to create the appearance of breathing. This attention to detail helped O'Brien create some of cinema's most iconic monsters, King Kong among them. And Harryhausen, O'Brien's protege, is the man behind Dynamation, a slick combination of stop motion and matte photography. Let's deconstruct how it worked using this slobber knocker from 20 Million Miles to Earth. See how the frame is broken up into three sections? You've got the arch here in the foreground, the models in the midground, and the city in the background. So the models you see here were on an animation stand. This stand sat between two glass panes. A camera was placed in front of the apparatus, a projector behind it. The projector played live action footage Harryhausen had previously shot. Essentially everything you see on screen besides the models. Before he started filming though, Harryhausen painted out a section of the glass pane closest to the camera. This created a mat which kept this area of the frame from being exposed. Harryhausen then recorded the stop motion work with the live action backdrop playing behind it. Afterward, Harryhausen replaced the mat with an inverted mat. This was just another sheet of glass that had the whole frame blacked out, except for the area he'd painted out before. Harryhausen rewound the undeveloped film, queued up the projector, and rolled camera. This exposed the previously unexposed portion of the frame. Just think of it this way, Harryhausen exposed the footage twice, one layer, then another layer on top of that, which created the appearance of a three-dimensional image. Still confused? Well, I could explain it again, but hey look, a dinosaur. Now let's fast forward to 2016 and ask the inevitable question. What's so special about Laika? Well, they haven't reinvented the wheel, but they've certainly added a few new spokes.
Show off.
To see what I'm talking about, check these two clips side by side. Watch each character's expressions and ask yourself, how do they differ? It's subtle, real subtle, but Coraline's expressions are more nuanced than Jack Skellington's, and the transitions between these expressions are more fluid too. Here's why. On The Nightmare Before Christmas, the animators had to alter Jack's expressions by hand. For Coraline though, Laika created 3D computer models of their characters, used software to animate them, and then used that same geometry to create faces, thousands of them, using a 3D printer. So anytime Coraline's expression had to change, the animators would just replace her face with a new one. So if you look at this footage frame by frame, that means that's a new face, that's a new face, that's a new face, and yeah, okay, you get the point. For Coraline though, each of these faces could only be printed on white resin, which meant they all still needed to be hand painted. Starting with her film Paranorman, however, Laika implemented 3D color powder printers. This, thankfully, eliminated the need to paint each new face, and if that wasn't enough of a leap, Laika partnered with Stratasys, the 3D printing company Laika worked with on Coraline, to improve their printer software. Now Laika has the capability to produce 3D prints that no one else in the world can.
Awesome!
Outside of 3D printing though, the team at Laika's second most recognizable innovation is their use of VFX. Backgrounds can be green screened in, the seams around each doll's face can be removed, puppet supports like those shown here can be keyed out. Is this authentic stop motion animation? Well, a purist would say no, and I'd be inclined to agree. But even with this hybrid approach, it's clear that the team at Laika and their CEO Travis Knight are committed to craft. So whether it's 1898 or 2016, claymation or 3D printing, I can't help but respect stop-motion animators, or the dedication they must have to tell a story literally one frame at a time. Or the dedication it took for Travis Knight, aka Chili T, to spit some dope shit like this.
Another name for Richard is Dick, so get off mine. So get off mine. So get off mine. Won't you get off mine?
Yeah, that guy makes children's movies now. Okay. Thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure to subscribe to this channel, Film Theory, for more fantastic film-related content. If you'd like to check out more frame by frame, click the frame to the left to watch an episode on how Disney crafts its iconic characters. Or if you'd like to check out a Film Theory episode on Dragon Ball Z, click the frame to the right. And until next time, my name is Kyle, and this has been Frame by Frame.